Mmm, donuts.
Hi, donut lovers! It's Rachel, your local donut enthusiast, and today I wanted to talk about the recent writers' convention I just got home from, which was exhausting and exhilarating and so much fun. So it was my first time at the Emerald City Writers Conference, and it was in Bellevue at the Westin, which was rather nice. The parking was free. It was fairly close to me. So many great things. Okay, so I wanted to first show you all the stuff I got. And kind of just chaotically discuss everything and talk about my experience and how great it was. So I didn't have much time to prepare going in because I've had lots of stuff going on leading up to the weeks before this event, and I read somewhere they sent one of the kind of pamphlets saying how to get the most out of a writer's convention, prepare and be ready. So I tried, and then I ran out of time, and I said I'll wing it because that's my favorite thing to do. So I knew where I was, I kind of knew what was going on. I had signed up to pitch. I didn't sign up for the master class thinking that I might be working in the morning, which I was. So I went in. It's going to be backwards, isn't it? I got my badge, I got my pitch time, I got an envelope with all sorts of stuff. I finally got my schedule, which there were a lot of the potential for last minute changes. I've been to a lot of kind of more broad conventions, and the schedule is up way in advance. You get to plan out your time, you get to choose between the panels and the workshops. In this conference, they don't disclose the schedule till you get there. So I was excited and nervous that the panels, workshops I wanted to go to would be at the same time, and of course that did happen, and it didn't happen, and I had pitches that I had to leave the workshops in order to go do my pitch, which I placed priority in doing because it's a great experience. I have manuscripts ready to shop, and I paid for this conference, and it was available. Here's my pitch appointment cards. I changed one to later in the afternoon, which they were really gracious about allowing me and everyone else the time to do. So I was able to go to a workshop I really wanted to in the morning. I was up early every day. I was up late every day. We had a Pitch Fest kind of practice session on Friday night, which was really good because I had done very little preparation for this conference in particular and these pitch sessions. I have done a lot of work in preparing synopses for the two books I pitched, and query letters, and summaries, and elevator pitches. So it was good to be able to kind of discuss the pitch live with people, which I haven't really done before. It was unnerving. I lost my words. I actually wrote everything down Friday night. I got home and I was like, I need to write this down. I know they say don't read from the paper. You can have notes. It's helpful. And I was like, I know I freak out when I'm talking to people or doing anything that could be even considered public speaking. So I like to have complete notes. So here's my pitch entirety sheet. One for each book, which is great. So one, I'm going to do a read through, have some people look over my query letter the last time, fix it up, send it out. The other one requires a few more structural edits, so I'll work on that at the end of this year. I don't want to become one of those statistics who the agent or editor says, yeah, send me your stuff, and then they never send anything. I mean, it happens. I don't want to become one of those, so I'm going to work hard and put in the time because I love the story that I wrote. But it's the first romance I wrote, part of the reason I went to this conference in the first place, because I'm like, hey, I've heard some about the romance community. They're really inviting, they're really welcoming, they're a big community, they have a presence locally, nationally, internationally, whatnot. I took notes. I happen to not actually bring any blank paper, so thank you, Westin, for providing these sheets I could use. That was really handy. They also had plentiful amounts of water in every room, though they were in glass cups, and we were in, conference style rows of chairs that were close together, and I was like, I don't want to carry an open glass and leave somewhere and knock it over. So it was nice to have the water though, and they had these little mints in every room, which are really good. And they said they had caffeine in them. I don't know. I had coffee every day. Don't know if the mints did anything. They gave me a list of things that would be handy to bring with me that I read over really quickly before the conference. So I had, business cards. I have my swag chapsticks I give to people for my newest book. I collected cards. I tried to write on them somewhere. Either something I would do with them in the future, potentially, like a writer's meetup, or beta partner, or how I met them Friday night dinner. So I'd kind of connect a name with the face that I met, and that would be handy later on. The agents also gave me cards, because they requested partials. Yay! And I wrote, they have really nice cards. They have this space on the back, which I wrote what they wanted. One of them wanted more wordage to my novel that needs structural edits. First 100 pages, query letter with how I know them, etc. That I met them at the conference. I went to one of the agents' panels, which was pretty neat. I learned stuff in, I think, almost all the workshops. I wrote a lot of notes. I used up a whole pad, went to a second pad. I learned about marketing and branding and how to structure a romance story in beats, which a lot of these have links to websites and kind of planning documentation. And I'm really big on filling out worksheets now. Yay, school education for prepping me for that kind of work later in life. But I've learned that prepping to write a novel is really important for my writing style. And editing is really hard for me, and the more work I put in before the novel, the less anxiety and issues I have kind of fixing it afterwards, because you gotta fix it. And doing it beforehand is better. Preparation, yay! In one of the panels I went to, they asked, so, I'm gonna pull out this worksheet. It was actually really handy. It was plotting for pantsers, and haha, I don't consider myself a pantser. No way! Though I have done it. I consider myself a hybrid, a plotster. But she gave me this really handy worksheet. I'm like, I prepped my whole Nano novel. I'm ready now. Yay for NaNoWriMo in what, like 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks. Anyway, she asked, what are your most important values? And my first thought was, and this is in general, not just like romance writing or writing, my first answer was productivity. I like to get things done. And I thought, wow, I'm not creative at all. That's very business-like. I like to get things done, but I'm also a little lazy, so I like to finish projects. I really like work where there's a definitive beginning and end. And sometimes writing doesn't always conform to that, such as marketing. Marketing never ends. Books can be finished. Some people never finish them because there's always something you can add or change or fix. But I like to be productive. That was a really handy workshop. I wanna call them other things now. By Beth Barney and Liz Adams. Shout out. Thank you for that workshop. It was really handy for me. I found a lot of good tidbits to put in my new Nano novel, which I'm planning to write the 3rd book in my For the Love of Donuts series. And thanks again to the Agents Editors panel, I learned that New Adult is out. So are vampires. They don't want them anymore. However, it was a sampling of Agents and Editors, so it's still hot. People still read those. But apparently the market's been oversaturated with New Adult. And my new book is New Adult. So go me! Yay! But I'm planning to write a romance series. And that's hot. It's contemporary. Now that I know how to build a marketable romance novel in length, because that's not what I understood when I wrote mine. It's between standard lengths, so I have to either shorten and make like this new novella style length books, or up it to, just under like 80K and have it be, like a standard romance novel. Yeah, someone showed me these really cool paper clips shaped like deer, and I'm like, I wonder if I could get donut-shaped paper clips that actually look like donuts, because that would be cheap. It's like pennies per paper clip. It's really hard to find branding materials that don't cost over $1 a piece. And okay, so I make these chapsticks. I make them because it's like super fun, and you know, they go along with my book. I have, you know, it's gonna be backwards, movie hopping madness, you know, chocolate challenged. I have all sorts of fun flavors. Blueberry cake donut, and they're fun to make. Labeling is a bit tricky. So I'm going to now open my swag bag. On Saturday night, which I should have kind of informed some of my readers groups writers and readers groups this was going on, because it was super cool and open to the public. So they have a passport to romance. I don't know if it's every Saturday. This was my first conference, first timer, and like so many authors were there, and nope, I don't have it handy. Yeah, they set up booths and they don't sell their books. They hand out swag, and they try and get you interested in later purchasing books, and maybe joining an email list, maybe signing up for a raffle. And it was super cool, and I'm like, whoa, I've never been to a place where it's like, have my book, have my book, have my book, read my book. I'm like, whoa, free stuff. And I love seeing how people present themselves and their tables, and branding is so important in romance. What? Like, I thought donuts was my brand. Apparently I misunderstood the word brand. And some people don't discover their brand right away or know what it is right away. And it's, you know, if you're focused on the writing aspect and kind of understanding what kind of genres or what you want to be writing, you know, you don't need to concentrate on your brand just yet. Plus, it's more relevant for people who have more books than I do. Eventually I'll discover my true brand. It could be Sweet Seattle Romances. Maybe, if mine are like location specific. But then your readers have expectations of you and your brand, and people love to read what they're familiar with, which is a theme they talk about a lot in this conference. That, and what was really cool is there was a distinction between traditional and self-published authors and books. However, there wasn't a distinction. Everything was valid, you know, because who's making the money? Indies. Who's making the money? Romance writers. You know, it's everything, you know, depending on what you want out of your author career, depending on what you're going for, you know, they're both valid tracks. And I really liked how, you know, they didn't look down on anything anyone was doing, and especially some of the keynote speakers. Today, Courtney Hole, I know she said she pronounced it some way, and other people like mispronounced it. So I'm not sure if I've just pronounced it incorrectly. She was a phenomenal speaker, and she talks about writing neuroatypical kind of books where the characters maybe have depression, or, you know, they're just not your kind of average person, and I really like reading those books, so I'm really excited to read her book, which, speaking of, ta-da! Look what she gave everyone! Did you know you get free books? Romance writers are super nice. They love giving out free books. Part of that's because they've written 30 to 1,000. Oh my god, romance writers are prolific. So I'm excited to read Courtney Hole. She's a really cool lady, and I went to one of her workshops, and she spoke today, and in her keynote she talked about not just which track you go down as an author, self-published or traditionally published, being okay, but also maybe you don't have sales, and that doesn't mean you're a bad writer. And I feel like an unstated thing, like subtext of the conferences, these are people who are successful. These are people who are selling books. And a lot of their, you know, talks were based on, you know, having sales. And, oh, I did this, and, you know, I spent $100 a day on Facebook ads. And I'm like, holy shit, I don't even make that in a year. Pardon me. But, you know, the way she talked about some people do follow, you know, A, B, C, and D, and other people do A, B, C, and D, and some people tell you, do that, and you'll be successful, and, you know, author A is super successful, and author B is not, and that doesn't mean that one of them's good and one isn't. So, like, if you're not at that threshold of selling 100 books, which I've read somewhere statistically that, because there's so many books out there and everyone can write a novel, that most people don't sell 100 books. And that seems, to a newbie author, like, so few, because people get book publishing contracts and they have, you know, sales runs of like 100,000 books. You know, 100 is like a drop in that bucket, but when you're actually at events and you're hawking your books and you're like, buy my book, and you sell 2, and you're like, the amount of events I'm gonna have to be at to sell 100 seems insurmountable, and it's gonna take years. But I went to a marketing and promoting workshop, so I'm gonna work on mine, and I sell more than 100, so I'm doing okay. I'm working on it. I'm committed to my track. I've self-published books. I've self-published these books, and I'm very committed to working on them as an indie. You know, my first book I wrote because I wanted to write a book. Can I write a book? I wrote a book. Can I publish a book? Yeah, I can publish a book. The second book was, it's a very personal subject, although if you read it, you're like, oh, it's just a fairy tale retelling, and it's a little dark, and it's a little mysterious, but it resonates personally for me, and I don't know, I didn't want to send it out to agents or editors, publishers. And my third book is very personal, but very fictional and very fun. Donuts in an Empty Field, and it's for me. These books are for me. I'm not intending to make a lot of money with them. I don't consider them a breakout novel, which, not putting myself down, but I feel like I've read enough where I know what a breakout novel is, and I'm not quite there yet in my writing career, and I'm gonna get there. Like, I keep working on myself as a writer, as a reader. I keep writing. I may not write every day. You don't have to. I know a lot of people say the definition of an author is to write every day, and I'm like, I disagree. I write in chunks where I'm like, I have this book in my mind. This book was in my mind, percolating, and suddenly I'm like, I'm gonna write it now. 6 weeks later, you know, draft 1. So, and then I spend, you know, half a year editing, because I'm terrible at editing. You know, and it doesn't come out for a year. Which, talking to romance writers, it's like, oh, I published 13 books last year. And I'm like, what? What? Well, there's 2 of us, we collaborate, you know, we're like this one-name author, and we both read it. And I'm like, oh, that makes a little more sense, but still, that's like 6 books. 6.5. Anyways, on to the swag. So, I got some free books. I got some free stuff. They had lots of chocolate. I didn't take much, because I don't think I can stomach Hershey's much anymore. I got this bag as I was walking around midway through the Passport to Romance. A lot of these bags were sponsored. This one looks like it's sponsored by Danica Winters and Harlequin. Harlequin? Anyways, I'm new to romance. That seems like an easy one to pronounce, and yet it sounds weird when I say it. Any questions, you're welcome to ask me about how my conference went. I've been kind of chaotically talking through my thoughts. I may try and edit this and put it up on YouTube on my channel, which subscribe, because marketing, and it's hard. Let's see, I got a bunch of cards here. I think Harlequin. That's cool. I like to see how people structure their stuff. This has really small type, which you never know until you print something how small it's gonna be. Case in point, where'd my bookmarks go? I ordered bookmarks. You know how big a bookmark is, right? Not as fat as this, but a little thinner. This is what I received! Thank you, Zazzle, and my idiotic brain for not understanding, I don't know, inches? Everyone's told me they love it because it's small, but still, the writing's a bit tiny. People like them, though. So I got, like, a notebook here. That's cool. I may give that away. So I like loose paper. Alright, on to my books. got some, looks like erotic. As I went around to the tables, I'm like, yeah, I think I like contemporary. I think I like sweet. I don't think I like erotica. I don't know, small town, not sure what that means. I've got a set here, Crossfire, No Way Out, Ghost Lies. They're signed, that's neat. This looks like a western. I think she said this one was a small town. The Rancher's Lady by Shirley Pennick. She says, enjoy the cowboy. That's cute. Falling for Nick by Jolene James. I believe this one was contemporary, yes. It says, happy reading. Thank you, Jolene. I'm going to have to start a separate shelf for my romance books now. Oh, here's my Harlequin. The lady there said that they have like open submissions. So you just go online, fill out the form, send them in. So it looks like a nice short book, trade paperback, mass market. Very, very light, easy reading, heartwarming. So those are the lines. They have lines like, I'm assuming thematically or subject matter wise. And someone said they just opened up a new one. Oh, I see. Category is wholesome. It says that on the back. Thank you for being very clear, Harlequin. This lady was fun. I think I got more swag than books because I felt weird about taking whole books. But I still have 2 more in here. I like this cover. Here. Dangerous Protector. Federal Paranormal Unit, Book 1. By Millie Taden. Normally don't read paranormal, but some people, as they continue to describe their books, I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. I'd read it. Yeah, so we'll see. And Nikki Swinson, The Score. Yeah, identity theft. Nice, fast-paced. And then swag. There's some cool stuff. There's always a favorite of mine for NaNoWriMo locals. The Duck. Oh, here's one I like. A cat. So she said she loved cats. And I'm like, yay, cats. I bought a book last week because I had a cat on the cover. It's currently in my review queue. Oh, I'll save my favorite for last. Someone made soaps. They smell actually really girly. They smell girly and nice. This is really big. It's kind of heavy. It feels like half a pound. I like cool stuff. Soap is like chapstick, but harder. Way harder, I think. I've never tried it. So that's cool. Swag idea. This probably costs a bit more than my chapstick. Oh, here's a neat one. So they said, did I have it here? When you go to the conference, you should be bringing sticky notes to put on your business cards if you didn't leave space for people to write on them. I'm like, oh, shoot. I put everything on the back and the front because I overstuffed my business card with words. So I'm like, I'll just get those little sticky notes. I didn't use them. Whatever. People love my chapsticks. Someone was handing out little sticky note books. This is cool. Oh, this whole table had these like sci-fi romances, and I'm really excited to see what a sci-fi romance genre really is. This one's Dubai, Double Cross. Looked interesting. Let's see. Oh, this is very functional. A Sewing Kit by Shirley Pennick. Thank you, Shirley. That'll come in really handy because I'm terrible at sewing, and I'm sure, I don't know, in a couple years, this is all I'm going to need. Although I may just use the black and go, oh no, I need a new one. Because I seem to, I don't know, have dark clothes, and you try and, like, match the colors, right? Not that I know, because I'm terrible at sewing. We got keychains with a quote on them. If one door closes, and another one opens, dun dun dun, dot dot dot, your house is probably haunted. What? Fun stuff. I try and pull out what I think are like the fun quotes in my books just because I like quirky stuff. And that seems like one of those. A little pack here. There's a chapstick and a candy and some lots of promo bookmarks and a pen. You know, pens are great, but half the ones I snagged from like the swag table and room didn't seem to work. So I don't know if it's just a fluke or I was trying to write on the Weston paper and it's finicky. I got a little, what do you call it, like necklace hanger doodle. It's cute. Oops. Some more chapstick. Oh, you know what? These look like the labels that I may switch to. They look exactly like that. Let's see how she put that on. And they are too big, see? Okay, so I got these labels for my chapsticks. And they're great, except for they're like paper. And I don't know, I'm a little hard on my stuff I put in my pockets. So they're going to get marked up. They're going to get wet. I spilled coffee on mine. And they looked really gross. So you really want a waterproof label. So the next set of labels I got, you just print like on from your printer. I want it to be simple. They're waterproof. They're a little too tall for the chapstick container. And I was like, oh, don't they know how large a chapstick container is? And it's really hard to put it on without putting it on crooked. Actually, this one looks slightly different because it's like slightly gapping. So I think it's a slightly different kind. And it looks more fitted to this chopstick container. So got some special chocolates. Ooh, here's a really fun one. M&Ms that are personalized. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Who doesn't love candy? Okay, M&Ms are not as good as they were when I were a child, but M&Ms are awesome. I don't know how much this costs, because, I mean, they're individually bagged. She has writing on both sides, and I was like, oh my god, M&Ms, that's so cool. I don't even really like those that much anymore. How many characters can you fit on a line? Because, you know, us authors are always writing down good ideas. So these are from Jillian David. Great idea. Also, someone has succulent. I don't know if you know what that is. I didn't actually see one. Everyone's like, oh, the succulents, oh, the succulents. And I walked by that table to go to, like, less crowded areas at first, and she ran out. I walked by her table, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Your table is literally empty. You don't even have a sign anymore. She's like, yeah, I handed everything out. All my business cards are gone. All my succulents are gone. Oh, I'm like, oh, you were the one with the succulents. Is that, like, a candy? She's like, no, it's like it holds in water. And I'm like candy? She's like, no, it's a plant. I'm like, oh, obviously I don't garden well either. So nay for sewing and nay for gardening. I've tried. I got more cards. Here's some little booklets people put together. This is like full size, book size. This might actually be bigger than her book. I don't know. Oh, this is cool. It looks relatively cheap to produce. This is supposed to be a bottle opener. It looks like a little round mouse pad. So it's like for grip, right? I can't wait to see if this actually works. Because it looks like one of those as seen on TV things where you're like, oh, a specialty sponge that costs $10? Yeah, I'm going to use that. And then it doesn't work any better than the $2 one. I'm sure this is like the opposite. It's like 2 cents versus like $5. You've seen those like fancy bottle, you know, oh no, I can't turn the bottle, it's too hard. They have like 10 different products. Anyways, can't wait to try and see if this works. Here's my passport to romance. This lists all the authors. It got buried in my bag. I also buried my phone at one point. Couldn't find my raffle tickets. I have so much stuff here. This lists all the authors. Okay, so when I signed up for the conference, they're like, hey, do you want to be a passport to romance? I'm like, what is this new thing? They're like, it's an opportunity as an author to hand out swag. You can't sell anything. It's a great promotional opportunity. And the spots went like that. Because it's an awesome event, I guess. I don't know. I don't also have romance right now. I have young adults. So I was like, well, that's not relevant. I'm still learning. But it was really cool. And I don't know, maybe I would do it next year if I have romance out. Some lady didn't even have her book out yet. It's dropping in January. And I'm like, wow, that possibilities. Okay, so I could be here if my book's about to be released. You know, according to the marketing panels, workshops, when you're getting ready to release your book, that's not You don't wait for your book to be released to do your platform and your marketing and your social media. You do that during the year preceding. Yeah, you need to have a presence before your book releases. So she was on it, I guess, because it makes sense. I got some nice cupcake recipes. Thank you, Darlene, my gem. So they have this program, a mentorship program. If you're a first-timer at the conference, you can apply to have a mentor called a gem. I got a little confused whether I was the gem or she was the gem, but it makes sense. Okay, so a gem is like a treasure, right? So she was the treasure, right? Okay, so she met me that first night for dinner. They gave me specialty seating the first night, so I'd have a place. Although I tried really hard to be aware of making connections. I went into this conference going, I'm going to learn, I'm going to pitch, I'm going to go to everything, I'm going to stay, even though I'm not in the hotel, I'm going to stay until the events are over. Oops, I left early today. But anyways, and I'm going to try and meet people and not be, oh, I saw you the first night and I met you, cling. So I try to just go from group to group, because, you know, people group up and meet new people and just learn, which was great. So, but the GEM program lets you feel a little more secure as a newbie, and they'll show you around if you want. They'll tell you what to bring. She's like, bring a bunch of singles for the raffle tickets. And I'm like, but I'm frugal, and I want to get 2 for the price of whatever. You know, you get a discount when you buy in volume, so I'm like, here's $20. I get 4 extra tickets. I mean, I didn't use my singles, but whatever. I didn't win anything. Apparently, my strategy of putting 1 single ticket in every bag, you know how they say, you're never going to win if you don't play? Well, that's my philosophy. You're never going to win if you don't play, and you can win with the smallest percentage of chance. Which, yeah, probability probably does work. Although one lady kept winning, and I was like, hey, because I volunteered. I helped out, like, handing out the raffle baskets. Like, hey, how many tickets did you buy? She won, like, 5 baskets. She's like, oh, I didn't even buy that many. I'm like, wow, you really are lucky. I was jealous. I also got some info on self-publishing help and, like, editorial help, and a lot of authors, you know, have businesses or know people who do, like, covers and whatnot. So I'm like, these people probably know what they're doing. I'll check them out. So yeah, I got a few other things, and I'll show you my favorite thing, and you'll understand why when you see it. Oh no, I missed a book. Okay. I'm Not What You Think by Laura Marie. Oh, the main character is a writer. And I was like, ooh, a writer? I love those kinds of books. You know what? My romance is going to be like that, too. One of our keynote speakers was Roxanne St Clair. She taught a workshop panel about from mid-list author to indie success and making lots of money. And her motto is self-publishing. Self-publishing, yay. She makes quite a bit of money doing that, so. Lots of cards, lots of cards, lots of cards. Oh, coming up on the end here. More cards, more cards, more cards. So they're a librarian who I met last weekend at Indie Author Day. Thank you for coordinating Indie Author Day, thank you. She handed out little USB drives with information on Smashwords. I'm like, Smashwords, you know, I've heard things about it. Not all good, but I don't really know that much about the purpose or how to use it much. I think I've used it. I don't know. I haven't tried very hard. People used to say, for your social media platform, choose 1 or 2 and focus. Focus on them. So, okay, choose from like Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. I'm not going to be able to name everything. Facebook. Twitter, no, just kidding. Whatever the other social media things people are using, Instagram. You know, pick 1 or 2 and concentrate and focus on them, because you know, people who use them are supposedly a little different, even though I'm pretty sure people use a lot of them anyways. And now people keep saying, do everything. I'm like, no, I don't want to do everything. And yet I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, a blog, a website. and some of them are new. I only have like 100 followers on Twitter and Instagram and none on YouTube, but it's a work in progress, and things change. Marketing changes. What works changes, and you have to, one, see what people are doing and, keep on top of it and work with those changes. So hopefully things will move to more focused, because I like Facebook. Maybe because I'm familiar with it. Although I do like photos, and Instagram is great for that. So I may be developing my Instagram more over time. I like words too, obviously. Okay. My favorite thing I picked up at the Passport to Romance reader event this year was, and is awarded to, Moxie North. And can you take one guess? I'll give you a few seconds. Guess what is in this little cute box. I wonder what Rachel focuses on all the time. I wonder what Rachel likes to talk about. I wonder what Rachel photographs. And you ready? Ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. Donuts! Oh no, it's on the floor. Don't tell Paul. Donut holes. I wondered what the regulations would be for giving people food. And I was like, I'm just not going to deal with it. For one, I do hand out like a chopsticks challenge pack sometimes, and it has candies, Smarties. However, I don't tell people to eat them. But I just wonder, I know people hand out candy, and these aren't professionally packaged. It looks like they're repackaged. Like, do you have to do something special for that? I don't know. But I don't care, because they're donuts. Donut holes, to be precise. And I have chocolate on the floor. Chocolate and glazed. I loved glazed donut holes. Thank you so much, Moxie North. You rock. Donut girl. I was like, don't tell me those are donut holes. Oh my god, donut holes. Forget the succulent, which I still don't know what it looks like. Donut holes are the way to go, and I really appreciate seeing my donut necklace. I wore it all weekend. Bye. Donut.